All right, today we're going to be discussing the spectrum of historicism. And as we study the origins of early Christianity, or think about how the religion began or got started, one is confronted with the question of what really happened. Well, who was Jesus? What was Jesus? What did he do? What did he really do? What did he not do? And so there are basically three broad categories. First is what I call literalist. And this is when you start out as a believer, maybe young in life, you are taught that everything was true and real, everything happened, everything in the gospel narratives is correct and literally from God, the Word of God, the story comes from God. And so you just think literally everything happened. If, as you grow older, you begin to doubt or realize that some things couldn't possibly be true, you fit somewhere into this historicist spectrum. And on one side of the spectrum, what I would call 1% or maybe 10%, you think, well, I should start with the 99%. You might think, well, it's 99% true. It's 90% true. Most of it's true, and you just sort of reject maybe the most suspicious stories like walking on water, uh, the feeding of 5,000. You just think that can't possibly be right. That can't possibly have happened in history. It's just a little bit of exaggeration there. But there really was a Jesus, and he really taught great things, and he had lots of followers and lots of disciples. In this case, you're sort of in the 90% category. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, there's the one percenters, and a one percenter would say something like, well, there was a Jesus, but he was a man and he died, and that's all we could really know about him. We can't really know anything that he talked about or anything that he really said because there's so much made up that we just can't really know. But we know he lived and we know he did something and taught something, but after he died, after he was crucified, etc., that many things were added to his story by other people and exaggerated, etc. And then right in the middle of historicism, we might have a 50 percenter, which thinks a lot of it happened, a lot of the narrative happened. He taught in the temple, he had followers, but a lot of it was made up. Not everything was made up, but a lot of it. Most of the miracles are gone. Maybe a few elements of the interaction with Pilate or the temple was a little bit of fiction, but who knows? Okay. So then in this third category you have fiction or fictionalists, and they think none of it's real. It's just all a story, and there was no Jesus even. Somebody just wrote a story for some reason. Who knows why? But it happened, and we got it, and it developed into a religion, and there you have it. So this is a spectrum of historicism. What is the point of this discussion? Well, really, I want to point out that when it comes to discussing historicists, or when you're watching a historicist on any various channel that discusses the origins of the Christian religion, uh, you get the sense that they're not a believer anymore. Maybe at one point they were a believer, but they're not now. But they still have some idea that there was a Jesus. And the question you always have to ask yourself is, are they a 1%, a 10%, a 50%, a 90%, or a 99%? It's a very wide range of spectrum, and the umbrella encompasses anybody who thinks there was a Jesus in some form. So if you are a literalist, you're a believer, uh, a historicist can actually be very close to you if they're in the 99% range. They may even agree with you on many theological points. they just kind of can't buy the whole miracle. They can't buy the walking on water, but they love all the rest of the story and they love all the moral teachings, etc. On the other end, there might be a historicist that's 1%, and he's very far away from a believer, but he's actually very close to a fictionalist. A 1% historicist is just a tiny, tiny step away from thinking everything's fiction. And so, anyhow, the point of this story in summary is to realize that saying one is a historicist puts you in a very wide range, and they may uh, agree with you or be very far away from you. It's a very broad umbrella that can encompass many people. Anyhow, that's my 2 cents on the whole spectrum of historicism. Thank you for listening. That was the end of today's presentation. I hope you liked it. Thank you.